tweets? What tweets? Surely you're mistaken, sir. Welcome to the Jason Rantz Show, brought to you by the Novak team, powered by Keller Williams. Visit them online at meetthenovaks.com. Now, I'm not one for true crime. I don't usually follow disappearances, in part because everyone else does that, and they can frankly do a better job framing the drama than I can. But there's one mystery I felt the need to solve. Where did Nicole Thomas Kennedy's tweets go? Thomas Kennedy is a Seattle abolitionist, and she's running for city attorney. She wants to abolish the police and prisons and stop prosecuting most crimes. And in Seattle, she appears to fit right in. She won the primary in a three-way race between incumbent progressive Pete Holmes and moderate Republican Ann Davison. Thomas Kennedy won despite her fringe views on policy, but also her views on cops. She thinks cops are Nazis and pigs and bastards. She mocks them when they're attacked, and she believes they're racists. And up until recently, you could have found her dangerous positions all laid out quite clearly on Twitter. But now, when you revisit links to those tweets, they've disappeared. Where did they go? You said property crime is a moral imperative. You cheered on arson. You claim support for Black Bloc allies. I came to your Twitter account to find your ideology. But I stayed on your Twitter account for the insane rants of a crazy person. While normally I would go to Nancy Grace to help with these kinds of mysteries, we already know the answer. Thomas Kennedy is deleting some of her tweets as she realizes they could hurt her chances of becoming city attorney, because even in Seattle, you do need to pull in some moderate Democrat votes, and right now they're at risk. Two prominent Democrats have come out against Thomas Kennedy. Former Washington governors Christine Gregoire and Gary Locke, they decided to endorse Ann Davison for Seattle City Attorney, and they're pushing back hard against Thomas Kennedy. In a joint statement, they said Thomas Kennedy's ideas would make the people of Seattle less safe and put all of our neighborhoods at risk.
Having an anarchist in a leadership role who doesn't believe in our country, who doesn't believe in the Supreme Court, who calls our law enforcement community serial killers, is not the answer to what Seattle needs right now.
But a Washington Democrat endorsing a Seattle Republican? That's rarer than finding an actual Republican in Seattle. There's only 17 of us. So why did Gregoire endorse Davison?
We can look at her opponent, who is a self-declared anarchist. If you look that up, that's the same as a terrorist. Is that the answer to the security, safety issues that we have in Seattle right now? I don't think so.
It's not merely a vote for Davison because she's not an anarchist. It's because her approach to the office makes sense, offering support to those who need it, but also prosecuting repeat offenders who keep breaking the law. Davison isn't some hardcore right-winger, as some bad faith activists claim. Speaking of which, this is Karen. This is Tina, sorry, I almost called her Karen. She kind of has that look. Tina Podlodowski is the chair of the Washington State Democrats. She is so rabidly anti-Republican that the mere notion of endorsing a moderate Republican enrages her. So she's playing defense for an abolitionist anarchist. Podlodowski keeps claiming that Davison is a Trump Republican. She's repeating this claim constantly because she thinks it's going to scare Democrats who hate Donald Trump so much that they either vote for an abolitionist or they don't vote at all. But Podlodowski's claim is as accurate as her spelling. Davison is not a Trump Republican. She caucused for Hillary Clinton back in 2016, and she voted for Joe Biden last year. Now, I'm not maybe an expert at this, but to be a Trump Republican, wouldn't it help if you supported and voted for Trump? Oh, it turns out I am an expert at this, because I make sense. I understand basic concepts. Tina Podlodowski, not so much. The truth doesn't actually matter to Tina Podlodowski. Kind of like the same way enforcing the law doesn't matter to Nicole Thomas Kennedy. Lying about Ann Davison isn't going to change the conversation the way the Democrats hope it will. And deleting damaging tweets that reveal your true nature? Not going to happen either. I come with receipts. The abolitionist believes property destruction is a moral imperative. She cheers on Antifa thugs who burn property in riots. Thomas Kennedy pretends Antifa and BLM agitators didn't commit any violence during the notorious Summer of Love that created a deadly autonomous zone. She calls the police Nazis and oppressors, says they have to be defunded and abolished. She claims prosecutors target marginalized communities. And of course, she wants to end capitalism, and she refers to the United States as America, spelled with 3 Ks. No one should understate what's on the line should Thomas Kennedy be elected. It would destroy the city for good. And it's happening right now as there's an activist push to not just defund the police again, but dismantle and abolish Seattle's municipal court, which here's the very cases Thomas Kennedy would refuse to charge. They're making contingency plans. There's no turning back for Seattle if Nicole Thomas Kennedy is elected. This city will not be saved if she's able to enact her policies. And given a recent poll showing about 65% of voters haven't actually made up their minds on who to vote for in this race, it means they haven't started looking at the candidates yet. And that means they haven't seen Thomas Kennedy's tweets. And if they're deleted, they're not going to see them at all. That's what she's hoping for. That means you have to actually amplify them so people know who they might be voting for and what's on the line.